From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, July the 10th, 2017. An Israeli soldier was moderately injured today in what appears to have been a deliberate vehicular attack in the West Bank. The incident took place at a junction between the Jewish settlements of Tekoa and Efrat, where a Palestinian driver drove his car into a group of IDF soldiers, causing a street lamp to fall and hit one of the soldiers, moderately injuring him. The terrorist then exited his vehicle and tried to stab another soldier, but was shot by Israeli forces at the scene before he could stab anyone. The terrorist died at the scene of his injuries. The soldier was taken to the hospital with injuries sustained to his arms and legs. He is now said to be in light condition. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu joined Israel's President Reuven Rivlin at the president's residence in Jerusalem today to welcome the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. Netanyahu thanked Kagame for his friendship, for opening the door for Israel to Africa as a whole, and for Rwanda's support. The two-day visit will reportedly focus on boosting cooperation and investment between the two countries and also on building support for Israel at the United Nations. President Rivlin noted that Rwanda is going to be a member of the UN Human Rights Council.
This is a body which is always against Israel, unfortunately. So we welcome all those who are prepared to speak for us.
He also noted the tragic similarities that Israel and Rwanda share.
We are two nations who understand the horror of genocide, and we must show what humanity can achieve with cooperation and understanding.
And U.S. Special Representative for International Negotiations Jason Greenblatt is due back in Israel today. The special envoy wrote on Twitter last night that he was on his way back to the country to continue our efforts to try to achieve a lasting peace. While an official schedule was not available at the time of this report, Greenblatt is expected to meet with Israeli and Palestinian leaders during the work visit. And Israeli and Palestinian officials gathered today in the West Bank to sign a historic agreement for the first ever Palestinian-owned power substation, paving the way for Palestinian energy independence. Israel's National Infrastructure Minister Yuval Steinitz and Palestinian Authority Prime Minister Rami Hamdallah turned on the Al-Jalame substation at the ceremony, which is just outside of the city of Jenin. It will allow Israel to send more electricity to the Palestinians and, for the first time, enable the Palestinians to control the distribution of the electricity to their own towns. The deal comes in the wake of a major power crisis in the West Bank and Gaza. Steinitz called the joint project a win-win, saying the deal was a model for how Israel can work with the PA on other issues like water. Steinitz added, "When you act together, great things can be achieved." Hamdallah thanked Israel for, quote, its cooperation to facilitate the project. 3 more substations will be built in the cities of Hebron and Ramallah. The victims of the Jedwabne pogrom were remembered today in the village in northeast Poland at the site where 300 Jews were murdered on July the 10th of 1941. The memorial was attended by a number of religious leaders, including for the first time local Bishop Rafal Markowski, who is president of the Council for Religious Dialogue and the Committee for Dialogue with Judaism. Anti-Semitic graffiti was found over the weekend in Colorado. According to the Denver Channel, messages were discovered spray-painted on a highway underpass, including a drawing of a swastika near a high school in the Denver suburb of Highland Ranch. The Anti-Defamation League, in a statement, condemned the graffiti attack. ADL Regional Director Scott Levin said there is no place for such hateful, bigoted messages in our community. 5 Jews who risked their own lives to save other Jews during the Holocaust are being honored tonight. B'nai B'rith International and the Committee to Recognize the Heroism of Jews Who Rescued Fellow Jews During the Holocaust will present citations at B'nai B'rith's New York offices to Rabbi Zalman Schneerson, Rebbetzin Sarah Schneerson, and their daughter Hadassah Karlbach for their efforts to save Jews in the south of France. Ben-Sion Cole will be recognized for his efforts in rescuing Polish Jews by smuggling them into Slovakia. And Menachem Rosensaft will accept the honor on behalf of his mother, Hadassah Bimko Rosensaft, for her efforts to save Jews in the Auschwitz-Birkenau death camp. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, July the 10th. At 7 o'clock, it's The Wisdom of Dr. Ruth Westheimer. At 7:30, Sylvia Barak-Fishman of Brandeis and Jerome Chanis of CUNY talk about personal, societal, and institutional changes for Orthodox women. At 8, Joy Layden, chair of the English department at Yeshiva University's Stern College, discusses her gender transition and how she found acceptance from her Jewish peers. That's from Limud FSU 2017. At 8:30, students from the Alexander Muss High School in Israel talk about their experiences working with the Jewish National Fund from the See Israel Conference at Bethel Synagogue in New Rochelle, New York. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with JNF CEO Russell Robinson on L'chaim, and at 10, the Archbishop of New York, Timothy Cardinal Dolan, talks about the common ground between Judaism and Christianity with Rabbi Peter Rubenstein. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, CEO of B'nai B'rith International, Dan Mariashin, talks about the recent UNESCO votes against Israel, when I sit in for Mark Golub on tonight's In the News. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, July the 10th, 2017. I'm Teisha Bader.